What's up, guys? So it's a Sunday afternoon. It's really nice, really sunny day. Looks nice, but it's kind of chilly. So just kind of bored. Thought I'd do a little video in the 4Runner. I've been doing a little bit of work on it, nothing crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna turn around here. So if you remember my first video I showed of the 4Runner, it had this old crusty, nasty looking old like JVC radio. It looked like it had either somebody puked on it or they like spilled a Coke or something. Just had all this brown crusty stuff. So I put in a cheap doubled in CarPlay unit. This is a dual brand. Got it at Walmart, and you can actually see the model number right there. But anyways, 150 bucks. And usually I'm a little skeptical of Walmart stuff like that, but it had pretty good reviews. I watched a couple videos on it, and then I thought, you know what, I might just go ahead and get it and try it. And I had some old trailer wheels laying around from my little utility trailer that I worked on, and I sold those for 50 bucks. So I was like, well, you know, another 100 bucks and I've got a new radio for the 4Runner. So I did that. And then something cool I did, it's got a USB cable. I've not routed this perfectly yet, but I'm gonna like tuck this all in. But I took the cigarette lighter, not cigarette lighter, the ashtray, sorry. Took the ashtray and it just pops out. I drilled a hole through the back of it so the USB cable could kind of come through there. And this thing was nasty too. So it looked like somebody had spilled something in there. I cleaned it as good as I could, but I still couldn't get a lot of the stains out. So I glued down some felt. Also, because when I put the USB, once I get it all tucked in there, I didn't want it like rattling around. So this kind of dampened the sound a little bit. And then around it, if you've ever seen any of these 3rd gen 4Runners and stuff, they're basically, this is all like a like galvanized looking metal. I painted it black. I just did it with a brush. It doesn't look that good, to be honest with you, but just enough so like when it's popped out, you don't see like that kind of weird looking, you know, pale, crusty looking galvanized metal. So anyway, once I get that all tucked in, it'll be good. And then my plan is just to have it to where it connects. You know, that's just all kind of, I'll probably bunch it all up with a zip tie, so it'll just kind of be sitting there. Then I can plug in my Apple cable and my lightning cable rather, and then you know, it'll all just tuck in neatly. I didn't really feel like routing the microphone all the way around, so I stuck it down here. I made a few phone calls and just kind of held it there, and most people could hear me pretty good, so I was like, well, that'll work good enough, you know. And then I just took out the cigarette lighter and just put in a little extra charging port there. So nothing crazy going on, but overall works really good. Pretty happy with it. Now if you look down here, I've got the boot and everything, the shift boot all tore out. I'd actually ordered a replacement, and I've actually got it right here. I got this on eBay. Somebody on a forum had used these people. It's called JF Customs, and I think it was JF Customs or JF Boot or something like that. This is a super good quality replacement boot. No problems with it. It seems like real leather, smells like real leather, you know. Or if it's not, it's a really good high quality vinyl. But the problem is it's too big. So I've got the old one here. I want to show you guys. And you can kind of see. So like if I put them side by side here, that's the old one. Pretty nasty. Look at this brown sludge. I cleaned it up and I couldn't get that off. I don't know what that is. Like I said, either somebody spilled like a Coke or somebody like puked in this thing. But anyway, if you look at it, it's quite a bit longer. I tried bending it a little bit to, you know, to make it fit, and it just wouldn't. They've got super good customer service. They've been like talking back and forth with me. I think they're going to try to send me like a replacement. But if they don't, or if it doesn't work out, I think I can just like basically cut this thing off of the little frame it's on, and probably like re-stretch it over this frame. You know, it's not like I'm going to damage this at all. You know, it's already got like gashes and holes and just, look at that filthiness. All right, another thing I did was this center console, this little lid. This piece is like $75, and I just didn't want to spend 75 bucks on this particular piece, but it was bugging me because it was all ripped up. I'll see if I can find a clip from my first video I shot. I think I kind of showed inside the 4Runner a little bit, and it, you know, this was like cracked, plus the vinyl had a rip in it. This was just some vinyl my wife had laying around. I don't know if she got it at like a Joann's or a Hobby Lobby, but if you look, you know, I stretched it around there It bunched up a little bit and wrinkled, but kind of wrinkled, I guess, neatly enough. It doesn't look horrible. I wouldn't say it looks great either, but I bought a little piece of foam at Hobby Lobby, just like a little piece of I don't know what type of foam it was. It was like in the crafting foam or something. I cut it out to this shape. Actually, my wife kind of helped me do that. She's pretty good at cutting stuff out nicely. So she cut that out for me. I glued it on and then kind of let it dry, and then I sprayed glue all over it again, sprayed glue on the vinyl, stretched it all out. I thought about shooting a video, but man, if you would have seen the way I was like, pulling that thing around, I'm not neat at working on stuff like this, so it wouldn't have made a good video. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then today, one thing I'm wanting to do is the steering wheel. If you look right here, this steering wheel's kind of trashed, okay? So the leather's all screwed up right here. Kind of messy. Otherwise, not a bad looking steering wheel. These 2-spoke ones don't look as good. There's like a 4-spoke one that was on like a couple years later. It looks nicer, but this is fine, I didn't want to bother changing the steering wheel. So what I'm gonna do, I've actually got a kit. Find it here. So this is a Wheelskins steering wheel cover. I've had these on like 3 different vehicles, I think, and basically you stretch this out over the steering wheel and then you lace it on. Okay, so whoever had the 4Runner before my friend that I bought it off of, he had put one of those like vinyl covers that goes over, and you lace like this vinyl cord around it, and I think it's called like a sport grip or something like that. It's kind of like old school looking steering wheel cover, and I really didn't like it. It felt like squishy. It wasn't tight, so every time you'd like go around a corner and pull it, you'd feel the cover move. It just felt kind of bad, so I took it off. Even this steering wheel, is cracked and as trashed as it is, this feels better than that vinyl, thing. So anyway, today I'm gonna put this Wheelskins cover on. I'm not gonna film the whole thing. It takes about an hour to lace this thing up. I don't know, you might could do it faster if you're better at that. I'm a little slow at this type of stuff. So I'm gonna put this on, but I'm gonna show you just a couple, clips of what it looks like as you put it on. So let's see. All right, so guys, what I've done, I've stretched this thing out over the steering wheel. And when you first start doing it, it looks like it wouldn't even fit. But then once you start lacing, it kind of sucks it all in. This particular one, they've got a few versions of this. This is just their original design. So it's only got one seam, which usually what you do is you line it up at the bottom in the middle. I don't think I'm quite in the middle. I think I might have to reposition a little bit here and scoot it just a little further down, because I want it to be pretty straight looking. Anyway, you kind of line that up. If you get like, they got a couple 2-tone ones, and they'll have like, rather than a seam in the middle, they have like a seam here, and I think at the top, wherever the two colors meet. The one spot I was worried about was up here where the wheel is trashed a little bit. And actually, I think it's going to cover nice. It's thick enough, I don't think you'll see anything between it. So I think it's going to work out pretty good, but we'll see as I start lacing it here. Okay, so I've got the leather positioned. They give you a little roll of waxed thread, and they give you a needle. All the holes are already made, so you just start lacing it through. It starts at the back and then goes across. So I'm going to stitch a few stitches and show you. You never start at the seam. So what you would really do is start like maybe 3 or 4 over here, and then you'll lace all the way around. That way you'll go right past the stitch, and then you'll tie it off kind of over here somewhere. Once it's all tied, it all tucks in. I guess if you start here, it'd be kind of weird. You'd end up with like a weird, tie off like right there in the middle, and it could kind of mess it up. So anyway, as you go, I remember doing this like on another vehicle. As you go, you basically got to keep kind of rolling your threads where you want them. Okay guys, just to show you a few stitches here, trying to get it inside the steering wheel. You basically start inside here, you put it through one in the front and go directly behind it, and then pull that down tight and then go across diagonally to the next hole and then back behind it. So you're always going directly behind and over. And then I leave this one in the middle here. It's a long, like about 6 inches long. Once I make my way all the way around the wheel, I'll come back to this one, and then it'll tie off here, and that kind of leaves it. Now it looks kind of like trash for a while you're sewing it up, because the rest of it's all floppy, but as you get it tighter, it looks better. Okay, now that stitching stays all the way the same till you get to the spokes. And the spokes is where it gets just a little bit tricky. You gotta do like kind of a dummy stitch. So once you get it nice and tight up here, you're gonna pick where you want to start skipping, and you're gonna skip the holes on the back, and you'll do like a dummy stitch around the spokes, but you'll get it nice and tight as close as you can. Okay, so anyway, once I get to the spokes, we'll come back and I'll kind of show you what I do around them. The nice thing with this 2-spoke one, there's only 2, so since that's the trickiest part, it's kind of nice only having 2 of them. But these things are massive, so I'm gonna have to count out how many holes I need to skip to make it all line up. Okay, so we've made it to the first spoke. So I think that's as close as we're gonna be able to get. Like if you see, the next hole is all the way kind of up on the spoke. So if you tried to stitch it there, you're gonna end up with like some exposed thread that runs through the middle, and it just won't look as nice. I've made that mistake. Like I said, I've put like 3 of these things on before, so I've gotten a little better at them. So what we're gonna do is, we've got it pulled in, we're gonna pull it really tight, make sure it stays nice and snug. And yeah, at this point it's already kind of snugged up good. And then what we're gonna do is start doing our dummy stitches. So we'll count out how many we need to for the spoke, and then we'll figure out where we need to start back on the other side of the spoke. So we'll count, also we'll reach around the back, we'll count that many holes on the back, and then we'll know, how many we've skipped and where to start at over here. A little confusing, but not too bad. Okay guys, so my wife decided to come out and sit with me, run the camera, and you want to say hi, Eureka?
Hi.
So she still doesn't want to be in my videos. I don't know why not though. She's a lot prettier than I am. But my view count would probably go up, but I don't want to use my wife to get more views. That might be a little bit trashy. Made a little mistake, so I'm just kind of pulling some thread back out. You want to pan over and show them? Like I was telling you guys earlier, when you get to the spokes, you got to make like dummy stitches, and I wasn't pulling those tight enough, so it looked kind of loose, so you don't want that. So I'm just pulling them back out. If you do make a mistake, it's pretty easy. I mean, you just basically unthread it, which is a pain in the butt after you've, run it through all those times. Anyway, so now I'm back to where I started on the spoke. So this will be the first hole that I'm skipping, and for some reason that one still won't tighten up as much as I would prefer it. So I'm gonna try to get it nice and snug, and that looks pretty good there. So now what we're gonna do, instead of going across like we normally would, we're just gonna go up to this next one and keep circling around and around and around. And we're probably gonna have to skip several holes because this is a big old massive spoke. Most steering wheels, you got like 4 spokes, they're just like little skinny ones. So anyway, let's move on a little bit further, and then we'll come back. Okay guys, we're making headway here. Not quite halfway done, but what I did was I started up the 4Runner so I could turn the wheel around. Makes it a little easier because I don't like stitching it like upside down. Once I get a little farther here, I'm going to turn the wheel over again. And I just wanted to show you guys, once you get a stitch completed, this is so satisfying to watch this thing cinch up. Bam, look at that, nice and tight. And then as you're doing it, you can kind of just look at where your stitches are falling. I like them in the middle, so you can kind of roll them, and you can roll them to the back a little bit or roll them to the front, whichever way you prefer, I guess. But so I'm kind of just checking, make sure they all look the same as I go. But so far, looking pretty good. Okay, so almost done. One thing I want to point out, you're coming around this direction, so you're going in one direction. When you do the spokes, these kind of lean up this way. When you come to the other side, they lean a different direction. So it looks a little different on each side, but still, I mean, it's kind of the best you can do. But so far, I've gotten it pretty nice and tied up on the spokes. So I'm about to start down here at the bottom of the spoke. I made sure I skipped the same amount of holes. I got to count the ones on the back and make sure they're the same. But then we'll be almost ready to finish it all up. Okay guys, well, it got a little dark on me. I think it took me a little over an hour. Must be getting rusty. I'm trying to do this so I don't get too many shadows. But anyway, we've laced it all up, and we're all the way back to our starting point. So this is our last string. This is the string we started with right here. And what we'll do, we'll take and we'll pull both of those really tight, tie them, and once we tie it, we'll tuck it down inside the leather. But overall, it's looking a lot better. All right, guys, so it's a couple days later, looking a little rough. Didn't bother shaving this week. Got dark on me on Sunday, so I just wanted to show you guys this steering wheel. So I'm gonna turn around here. And I took a few random clips that I'll kind of play, but man, that looks so much better. So after I tied that off, you know, you can kind of see right here where our starting point was. And you might see a little thread sticking up right there. That's where it was, that's where we tied it and tucked it in. I need to tuck it in a little better. But still, overall, looks way better. This big gash that was up here, I was afraid it would kind of show through the leather because it was kind of a dent, you know. But actually, it worked out perfect and, you know, feels good. The steering wheel is a little more firm now. It was kind of spongy. It was kind of wearing out. Still a couple spots that are a little spongy. And then like on these spokes where you've got, you know, it's basically like a dummy stitch here. It is a little spongy there. And then I also wanted to show you before we go, I just kind of loosely fit that boot under there just so until they send me a new one I can drive it around. I did talk to the company. They're going to send me another one. So once I get that, I'm going to show you, you know, get that installed and show it to you. But for now, it looks good, you know, like it is. And then I'm going to change out all my little lights in here to LED lights. And the key ring light back there, it's not working. So I'm going to change those out, but that'll be another video. But appreciate you guys watching. If you're watching my videos, please like and subscribe. Later.